Greetings and salutations, everyone. We're back. This Tales Darkside, what is this, number 76? I feel like it's been a little while since we've streamed.
Yes,
I know Jay didn't stream, I didn't stream. But we'll talk about that a little bit. Whatever.
No.
Anyway, what is going on, Rob? How you doing tonight, brother? Thank you for coming through again.
I'm doing
my
good.
man.
You know, back from Vegas. I was at CinemaCon all week. That was fun.
Dude, it looked awesome.
Flash.
Yes,
I lived vicariously through you and and your posts and stuff. It looked awesome. You said you saw the Flash.
I saw the Flash. They showed the Flash.
Lord,
yeah, I liked it a lot.
So do you have to? I'm obviously not going to talk about it, but I'm curious. Can you talk about that, or do they tell you like, "Hey, yo, you can't talk"?
No.
this?
You can say whatever you want.
Wow, really? Like you could just spoil the whole movie?
I mean, you could if you wanted to. I guess. I mean, that would be mean.
Well,
I think
I'm not talking about the questions of ethics here. Just whether or not the practicality is there or not. I didn't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's no like law that says you can't do it because we paid to be at CinemaCon. So,
oh wow!
So you paid to be there, and if it was like a screening that the studio put on that you didn't have to pay for, but we paid to be there. So
okay.
But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't. There's so many surprises in the movie that I didn't know about that I would not want to. I would not want to.
Like to deprive that joy from someone.
Yeah,
or something along those lines.
Yeah, because there was a lot of very surprising things in the movie.
Wow! Oh wow!
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, that's awesome, dude. I guess I'm gonna have to. Let's try Rob's poker face again. Yeah, because you know what he's referencing, right? Like last time we were talking, and I was like, you know what? I was like, it's got to be the Borg, right? And you were like, I was like, yeah, Rob. Anyway, it's good to have you back, Rob. And Jay as well, man. What's up, man? How you doing,
Dude? It's been crazy. I've been in the car dealership all day with my wife, so we haven't eaten, haven't slept, haven't done anything. So I'm gonna be taking bites periodically through the stream. Very unprofessional, but I'm
no. Dude, when you gotta eat, you gotta eat. I totally understand it. Windman says I used to go to CinemaCon for years when I managed theaters, and there's no NDA involved. Very cool, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. I mean, the thing with the Flash and fans, and there's, I mean, there was from the very beginning, there were characters in the movie that I didn't know were in the movie.
Okay. So it's like that. There's some.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like very spoiler-ish in terms of. I just didn't know, and it was like, oh, that's interesting.
No, I would imagine that was kind of like. I'm not gonna get into it, but that was kind of like the Last Jedi, where I didn't know that like Yoda would be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're like,
yeah.
Cool. Like,
yeah,
it's about the only cool thing about that. Anyway,
I mean, it's funny. I'm gonna look on the IMDb. I'm looking at the IMDb right now to see. Okay.
Oh, if they did something.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, if they have it, like in terms of the cast, I'm curious to see who they have listed.
Yeah. So are those? Is IMDb like wiki where like anybody can edit it?
Yeah, but it has to be approved.
Okay, it does.
Okay.
This
is really interesting. So the top cast. I'm looking at the top cast, and the fact that there is a fairly well-known actor who. Let me see. All cast and crew. Let me see.
Rob's like, I don't really want to spoil it for anybody, but
it's on the if you can look on the IMDb,
right? If it's there, then
and see. And this is interesting because there is a very well-known actor who has appeared in the Snyderverse that is not listed on the cast on the IMDb. And they're a fairly prominent actor that's not listed, and that's probably why I didn't know they were in the movie.
Wow.
So I was like, and they're in the movie pretty much at the very beginning.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, that's interesting.
Like right out the gate, you're like, huh, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, within the first 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." But if it makes sense, so
Well, as long as it makes sense.
Rob, can I ask you, did you like the movie?
I did. I liked it a lot. It's wildly entertaining. It's really funny. You know, it's really humorous. It felt like an 80s movie. It felt like an 80s movie by way of modern superhero films.
Oh, then I'm all in.
It's probably definitely one of the, I mean, one of my big criticisms, I really love Man of Steel, but one of my criticisms of Zack Snyder's, his Snyderverse, the 3 films he made, I call it the Justice League trilogy, is that there's no joy in those movies.
Right.
They're so somber and serious, and it's like, come on, man, you're making a fucking Superman movie,
right?
And it you know, and this movie has a lot of humor in it. Like, as a matter of fact, there's a pretty large scale action set piece in the beginning of the film. That's all, and the whole notion of it becomes both shocking and hilarious at the same time. And it's not Lawrence Fishburne. It's not Lawrence Fishburne.
Right. Oh, that's, well, if you liked it, then I'll take your word for it.
I mean, I really liked it, and it was also really interesting. I just found the movie to be very interesting, and that was the thing. I honestly didn't know where it was going, and I like that about the movie, you know. And I think of all the like
it didn't feel predictable in a sense.
No, it didn't feel predictable, and
great.
You know, it was different than, obviously it's a multiverse movie again, but it was the multiverse done in a way you haven't really seen it done before, and it was really fascinating. I mean, you know that both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are in the movie because they're in the trailers,
right?
You know, and I was surprised how they were used, and it was very interesting, you know, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. And the climax, the climax is sort of a celebration of every live action iteration of DC. It just kind of honors the whole history of DC on screen on the movie screen, and I thought that was really nice. You know, I really enjoyed. It left me with a good feeling, and they didn't show us the credits, so there could be because the way it ends on a note, a really interesting note. And then I think they were going to continue on with that interesting note in the credits, but they didn't want to show it to us.
Okay.
And I think I know why, and that's fine. But it's just going to make for more. Yeah, it's going to make for more interesting fodder. And
well, so now I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah,
because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think no. It's totally worth seeing. It's definitely one of the more satisfying superhero movies. And it's right at the top of DC superhero movies.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
Really,
wow.
Hell
that's
yeah.
Great.
Just because it was so much more. I mean, look, I really did like what Zack Snyder did, but the problem is because, look, I mean, you've got a movie in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice where Holly Hunter's senator character, Lex Luthor, delivers a glass of piss to her before blowing up the Senate. You know, and it's not, those movies aren't fun to watch. And I think that was the fatal, as much as I look, one of my favorite things in any superhero movie ever is the beginning of Batman v Superman, where Bruce Wayne arrives at the end of they replay the end of Man of Steel, the battle with Zod over Metropolis.
Oh yeah, when he sees everything destroyed.
And I love Bruce Wayne running into the fray. You know, I think that is so cool. Yeah. But it's like, you know, thousands and thousands of civilians are dying. And you know, people have always leveled the criticism. Well, Superman, I really don't like the idea when people say, well, Superman wouldn't let a civilian die. He's fighting an existential battle for the fate of the planet. And you've got a guy that you have skyscrapers being destroyed and men being thrown through buildings. And Superman's been Superman for a week. You know, there's no way he can possibly he's trying to save his own skin and save everyone on the planet.
Wow, it's like Spock.
Yeah, of course it's going to be collateral damage.
I mean, the needs of the many, right, outweigh the needs of the few.
Yeah, and it's always bothered me. I think that, and then it's kind of an amalgamation of the Dark Knight Returns and the Doomsday storyline, and it would have been. I think that while I like seeing it all, visualized on screen, it's almost like every frame is a painting, and it looks incredible. But
that's how I felt with Mad Max. Sorry, but
like the first Mad Max or Fury Road?
No, that Fury Road. Like every scene was like just this kind of.
Oh yeah, but Fury Road was fun.
It was.
Yeah, that's
fun.
true. That was a pretty fun movie.
It was fun, and I really think there's a lot of people that are mistaking when I say that there's no joy as a criticism. And it's a criticism, but it didn't, like, I liked watching the movies, but I think the reason why they didn't make the kind of money that everybody expected them to make is because, if you're a kid, if you're 8 years old watching Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice,
boring.
There's also there's nothing in that movie to make you smile, because you get Superman and Batman at each other's throats, and it's cool when Wonder Woman shows up and they all have to kind of fight Doomsday, but then Superman gets killed. At the end of the movie,
I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old when I saw Batman in the theater.
Yeah, but the thing is, Batman in the theaters, the Joker's fun. This town needs an enema.
Well, okay, I guess he's kind of fun.
Well, that's the thing, and it's not, and it's more of and the interplay between like Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne and all that stuff puts a smile on your face. It isn't like not everything. Even when Batman takes out those dudes in the warehouse, which is a badass scene. It's still, at the end of the day, it's like he's just straight up murdering dudes, and he's tearing through these guys, and it's like he's branding people, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
And here's the thing: I like the vision of the movie, and when I watch it, I'm like, I can't believe a studio allowed a Superman Batman movie to be made like this.
I agree.
And even the Batmobile has gigantic guns on the front of it, and he's blasting his way, tearing his way up through these criminals and stuff. And it makes me sound like some kind of an old fuddy-duddy the way I'm talking, but
we enjoy it though as adults. But I understand what you're saying. Like for a younger audience, they might be like, well, I don't know. I'm not having.
They're not having.
It needed to be fun, and and that movie lacked fun. And you're right, I remember going to see that movie and I was bummed out. That was the thing, I was bummed out. I was like, I should be hyped and pumped, but I wasn't. And when the dirt rises off the casket, it was like, oh yeah, he's coming back, which I saw coming, but I just it just felt, I was bummed out. I wasn't excited. I wasn't like, oh, that was a great movie. It was just like, damn, I think I just want to go home and pray.
Right. It was one of those kind of.
Exactly right. But the thing is, The Flash is effing fun. It's fun from the opening.
That's.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it does show you that like Tamora Morrison is in the movie. Arthur Curry's he plays Tom Curry, Arthur Curry's Aquaman's dad.
Oh wow.
Now he's listed on the IMDb, so I can say that. But I mean, the way he's in the movie is there's a joke. It's hilarious, and the whole audience laughed out loud at how he's used in the film.
Oh, okay.
And it was really well done. I mean, there was all of these. There's even an ongoing joke. I mean, I guess I can say it's not gonna won't ruin anything, but I've equated the tone of the movie reminded me of Back to the Future. Not that it has anything to do with the plot of Back to the Future,
just that kind of tone.
Tone. And then the movie actually has a running Back to the Future gag in it. kind of like in it's very funny because so did Endgame.
Right.
When Tony Stark,
Endgame kind of did too.
When Tony Stark says to Scott Lang, what do you get? Did you get this from Back to the Future? That's not how time travel works. It's a different, it's a different kind of a joke. So, yeah,
I guess That's good for us to look forward to then.
One last question. What did you think of the young lady that played Supergirl?
She's a fucking dude. She's a fucking movie star, and that made me I had to get this.
Awesome.
The
Barbie, what is this?
The Supergirl Barbie.
Oh, look at that. That's cool, man. That is cool.
Because the Hot Toys, if they're gonna make one, will be here in like 2 years.
Right.
She's great. She's really, really, really great.
Hell yeah. I kind of lost it here, I think. Let me scroll through. But Ashley Chase, man, my dude, thank you so much, man, for gifting 5 channel memberships, dude. Definitely appreciate that. And Lord Fog, man, with the $5, man. Thank you so much as well, dude, for that super chat. Or sticker, or I don't know if you had sent a message. I didn't see it, but thank you. Either way, my friend, do appreciate, guys. Yeah, I mean, all right, so that sounds cool, dude. I'm looking forward to watching it then, man, especially if it sounds kind of 80s.
Yeah,
so
it's a lot of fun. And you know what?
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, they're really good in it. Because they obviously, again, you've seen in the trailer, there's 2 different versions of Barry Allen. There's an older version and a younger version, and it's they play it really well.
Very cool, man.
Really
Hell
good.
yeah. I'm stoked, man. Because I've been a little burnt. You know, I've been a little burnt lately with Marvel. Not gonna lie.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, I hated Thor: Love and Thunder, and I thought Quantumania was kind of a sludgy mess.
I agree. I agree.
And this was, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we'll see where these allegations go, but I don't know with Jonathan Majors what they're going to do.
Oh gosh, I don't know either, right? Because
not looking good.
So is this the situation? And we'll just briefly gloss over this because I was thinking about this a couple weeks ago, right? So as far as what my understanding was, this girl came out and she's like, "Yeah, beat the shit out of me, choked me out," but then he's like, "Yo, but I got evidence that says otherwise, but I'm not going to put it out to the public." And now other girls are coming out and saying the same. So like if a girl accused me of something like that, I'd be like, "Yo, I got proof, dude. I'm gonna put this shit all over the internet right now."
Yeah, I mean,
and just, you know,
apparently I heard that though it was like the person, their driver, saw the exchange between him and I guess that was his girlfriend at the time or whatever. And it was said that she actually did the hitting and stuff like that. And I believe he called the cops, and then she went to the club after. It's very weird.
Yeah, I mean
how it goes, but who knows.
It's just a little concerning to me, right? Because it's just like that. I mean, if either of you were like, "Yo, Anthony just beat the shit out of me," and you know all this stuff, I'd be like, "Dude, I gotta tell you, what are you talking about?" I would, you know what I mean? I would try to defend myself immediately.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors is a really exciting actor. I mean, and he has a movie. There's a movie coming out called Magazine. He plays a bodybuilder, and it was doing well in the festival circuit. Can you imagine you make this movie and it's like the same thing with The Flash. You make the movie and then the real person, Ezra Miller, gets into all this trouble. And of course they decide, I mean, 1,000 people worked on The Flash. Andy Muschietti, the director, he busts his ass. His sister, he produces the movie with his sister. And then, you know, it gets all thrown into chaos because in real, like, what does Ezra Miller as a performer in the movie The Flash have anything to do with Ezra Miller in real life?
Right.
I mean, and I understand, like, well, I'm not going to go support a movie where somebody's grooming kids, or I get all that, but that is all that he's not been prosecuted for that in a court of law. I think the only thing that he's been prosecuted for was breaking in and stealing some booze from a neighbor or something like that.
Yeah, something weird, right? Like,
and he's all this stuff's been reported, but that's the way our society is. You know, that if the smell or the whiff of impropriety can get you canceled, and Jonathan Majors got dropped by his management company, and he's had his career severely curtailed. And you know, here he just did these 3 banger performances in Devotion, in Quantumania, and in Creed 3. I mean, he was great in Creed 3.
Oh, he killed it.
And he was so good. I mean, that guy, if I could look like anybody, I've always said I would look like Michael B. Jordan, but because that guy's one handsome dude. But Jonathan Majors is, I mean, that physique that he was able to get. And then in this movie that's coming out, you know, it's an independent movie. I think it's a first-time director who made the film, and it's doing well on the festival circuit. Jonathan Majors is being lauded for his performance, and then of course it gets all derailed,
Right.
and it just sucks. So
yeah, especially like what you mentioned there, that which is kind of stating the obvious. It's not obviously just this movie, but movies in general. But when you say, like, you know, there's hundreds of people that are working on a film,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, so it's, I get that too, because it's difficult, right? You know, all these people put in all their time and creativity and effort into,
Yep.
you know, creating something. To have one person kind of, you know, ruin it is shitty in general. But I'm with you, man. Like, fuck this cancel shit. So, you know what I mean? Get in court of law, see what happens, go from there. You know, I don't like that either. Like how they were like, oh, he, you
Well,
know,
that's
they
why-
dropped him, his PR dropped him, the
And the
fucking
thing-
commercials
even
he was doing.
And even the people that did, I mean, outside of his management company, that's big. But I know the other projects he was in, they were smaller projects that he had already was attached to. But it was easier to let him go from those, because principal photography, I don't think had started just yet. It was still in the early development, so it was easy to just take their hands off it. Whereas Disney, I mean, shit, there's shit in the can ready, you know, with his name on it. With Loki's ready to go. That's done. That's wrapped. So, and then I mean, and then he has a whole saga. You know, they put a lot of stock in his character, and I think they learned from James Gunn not to be so quick to, you know, bury the axe. So I think they're just waiting to see what happens, and that's why we probably haven't heard anything.
Well,
yeah.
You know, without getting too, I want to chime in on that real quick. But dude, Lord Flock, dude, thank you, man, so much, dude, for becoming a channel member. My dude, I appreciate. And Mike, hell yeah, dude. I like the username. $2 man super chat. I appreciate it, man. Big fan of the three to you, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sure everybody here as well appreciates. No, I want to chime on that because, damn, I lost my train of thought. What you were just saying, Jay. Son of a bitch. Oh, James Gunn. So, like, the thing is like, for me, it's like, and Rob, I know you'll probably agree with me on this one as well, is that when you have stuff like Twitter, right? And Twitter's, well, it's supposed to be kind of like that, you know, town square of sorts, right? People say shit all the time. Like, we've grown up this way, like, where we'll just say shit all the time. Nice or mean, it doesn't, you know, whatever. And then the problem is when you have these social media platforms like that and you post something, people don't, like, they can't hear the cadence in your voice. They don't know if you're being, you know, sarcastic or this or that. Or what they like to do is put a pin in it and be like, well, December 12th, 2013, you said this and it's forever. And it's like, no. Like, I could be mad one day and be like, you know what, fuck this guy. And you just type it and hit send or whatever because you're, you know, upset or whatever the case is. And I don't, that's what's weird to me. Like, growing up, like, we didn't have that. So now people look at that as it's like it's fucking scripture. Like, you've been writing a page in your own book that's permanent or something. And it's like, dude, doesn't make sense to me. It's just doesn't.
Well,
make
yeah,
sense.
I mean, it's you got to be really real. What is really I think distressing is that we have a whole culture of people that they want to tell on others. They're looking to be offended so they can go after people. And like, you know, when I was a kid, if you got into some beef with some other kid and you got in a fight in school, you didn't go home and tell your
I don't know who started it.
Yeah, it's like there was and every kid was the same. You weren't going to be the kid to like rat on another kid.
Right.
And now we live in a world where that's okay. Not only that, people feel that by ratting on somebody or ratting out somebody or going after people, they're actually doing a justice in the world. Like, I'm going to get this person deserves to suffer my wrath for whatever perceived injustice.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate, but that's, you know, those are the times that we live in. And
I don't get it either, right? Because this is kind of how we grew up. I mean, so it's weird to me. I don't know, and I was always, like, as a kid, you know, more aired more on the punk side of things in life, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know when all of this became cool, all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like to be like, oh yeah, let's try to get this person in trouble. And like,
I frankly think it's horrifying that entertainers have to go through this. I mean, even like watching the whole thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard last year.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I really wish I didn't know some of this stuff. I don't want to hear about him and, you know, somebody else doing it. It's like, damn, can they be? I understand they have a cool job. At the end of the day, it's a job. And Rob, you know, it's a job at the end of the day. And that's all it is. It's just a cool job, and you're in the public eye, and you have a public persona. But I do think that because they are public figures, that they have them having no private life and being exposed to certain things. I think that was too much. That shouldn't have been for public. It should be just like, you know, I just think, you know, them losing everything for maybe making a mistake. And I'm not trying to, you know, minimize anything, you know, that they have done. If they did some horrible shit, yeah,
sure,
you should do your time for it. Absolutely, rightly so. But if, you know, if it's something like they're going through litigation, or it's to be determined, right now it really is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now it's just like, oh, somebody said some shit about you, I want to do with you, and they lose everything. The thing we're not looking at, they lose money, they lose jobs,
and they have family. A lot of them have families, wives and children, or husbands and mothers and fathers, and this kind of stuff happens. I mean, I wouldn't want my personal life, you know, out there for public scrutiny.
Sure,
or it already is, Rob.
I know.
I mean,
well, no.
I mean, you know what I mean. To a point,
it is. No, and I mean, as long as I can monetize it.
Right, you're like, bring the haters. I don't care.
Yeah, no, it's interesting though. It's you know, I talk about this a lot on my channel. I've talked about this a lot over the years. There's a book I read by this Israeli historian named Yuval Harari, and the book was called is called Sapiens. And it's basically a really breezy 100,000-year history of mankind, of humanity. And it's really good. It's a great read. I highly recommend it. But at the end of the book, he asks a question. And he asks the question to all of us, to all the readers, to humanity, basically. And the question is, who do we want to be? Like, I mean, most people lead lives of quiet desperation. They're just trying to get food on the table and pay for shelter in their lives. But at the end of the day, as a race, the one race on this planet, the human race, the race of humans, yeah, we're ethnically diverse, but there's one race of people here, and that's us. Sure. And the idea is, who and what are we going to be? What do we want to be moving forward? And I think that's a question we all have to ask. How do we want to be treated, and how do we want to treat other people? And what's really interesting, it's so quick. Humanity is so quick to become very callous. And very quick to find the misfortune of others entertaining. And it's you know, it's the old biblical idea, let he who is without sin throw the first stone, you know. And it's disconcerting to see the bread and circuses, and it's disconcerting to see the performance activism that happens when people think that they're somehow trying to save the world by going after a person that said something that offended them.
Yeah, I never got that. Like, I still to this day, I still don't to this day get it.
Well, it's, you know, people want to make themselves feel better by jumping on a bandwagon and going after somebody that might have said some kind of perceived slight or something like that. And it's just a weird, because we've seen it throughout history. It never ends well.
No,
and it doesn't end well. And we repeat these things over and over and over again. So.
Well, they're trying to erase some of that history too. But Rock'em Chris, man, thank you so much, dude. My man, becoming a channel member, I do appreciate my man, and the $5 bomb, dude. Long overdue for all the times I bug you on Instagram with Meteor Man videos. I finally became a member. You did, my man. Hey, look, you never bug me, man. It's totally good. It's totally good. I do appreciate it, man. And Charlie the Unicorn, my man, is absolutely right. But don't fret, we will be ruled by AI overlords very soon enough. Sad, but it's true. It's true. I'm feeling it. S-Beam, my man as well, dude. 1 year channel membership, my man. Hell yeah, dude. 12 months, rock on. Hail to the chat. Rob, Brother Cousins Mafia, great to see you all together. Well, thank you, my man.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to talk about the fucked up things in life, but we'll continue that. But dude,
isn't this a toy channel? What are we talking about?
Well, you know, we talk about everything here. We talk about everything here, right?
No, this is a nice figure.
This is dope. I wanted to bring this up, but and guys in the chat, man, yeah, we're gonna bounce around. We're gonna talk some topics. We're gonna talk some toys because this is what we do, right? But yeah, this is freaking sweet, man. I'll just real quick, man, because when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, like this is like a judge a book by its cover type situation, right? Because I think people's first reaction to it was like, oh fuck, there's a cash grab right there. What the hell is this? Right. I mean, when you instantly see it, but then you realize that it's, you know, it's the video game series line. It's a VGM from Jedi Survivor, which I'm playing right now. It's a pretty badass game. So yeah, I get it, right? But again, the thing is, right, as we all know, like you don't have to buy it if you don't want it, you know. Right. So that's how I always look at it. But for me, I was like, what was more compelling to me was I was like, oh shit. So if they're putting out a Jedi Survivor brand,
yep. Right,
so then we're probably gonna get a 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗓. You know, give me everything from the game. Whatever you want to do, I think is badass. Did you? I wasn't sure, Rob. But did you see this at all?
The game?
No, the figure, because it just dropped. I think.
Oh, yesterday.
Night or
yeah. Oh, yeah. So. No, I this made me want to go then buy a 6-scale speeder bike. I want it. It's a great figure because. You know, I do like these kinds of these I call mythos figures or whatever. I know it's from a video game, so it's not really mythos figure, but hey, it's still damn cool.
Yo, yeah, no, I shoot. I know what you mean by that, right? Like in a mythos sense, right? Where you're like, well, it's not like from the movie,
yeah,
but so it's like different iterations of things. But yeah, dude, I'm digging it. I think it's $240. Yeah, I don't think it's too expensive. I gotta double check the price again. I did see it the other day, but I forgot. Did they fix the helmets or the stupid gap still there? I'm not actually sure, man. Because for me, when I just look at it, I'm like, oh, cool. That's a scout trooper. Right. So I haven't really looked. Have you, Jay? I mean, have you looked at this at all? I know we haven't talked a little bit this week.
Yeah, I did a little video on it yesterday morning. Myself and Leo, we were talking, and Jesus, Local Lou, Jesus, haven't got any sleep, but anyway, so we talked about it yesterday morning when this dropped, and I like it. I like the fact, first of all, the scout troopers are my favorite troopers. They just look badass, and the fact that he's a scout trooper commander with that pauldron is awesome. But the biggest thing is, like you said, man, this just gives me hope that we're getting a 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗓. I mean, they might as well just said, like, yeah, you're getting a 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗓. We're just starting everything off with this guy right here. And that's where my mind goes. I don't need him in my collection because if I'm gonna get a scout trooper, it's gonna be the one with the bike from Return of the Jedi. So, and I'm definitely still looking to get in that one. This does look cool. It looks damn good. I don't think I'm gonna be getting it, but it gives me hope for things to come.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Real quick, I got another $2 super chat. My man Mike says J.K. Rowling and Gina Carano are great examples. Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly right, and it's just like,
yep,
that's infuriating to me as well, dude. And we'll dip on in here in a little, but yeah, I think this is like you guys both said. I mean, if we'll get a 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗓, I don't. Here's the thing: I'm not very far in the game yet, obviously, so I don't know if this is a fake, a representation of a shot in the game where you're going to be on a mountain area planet on Tatooine or whatever, right? But will there be speeder bikes in the game? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. Yep. Or are they just taking artistic liberty, with this solicitation? So, because if there is, then of course they're going to do another bike. Like, right. Why wouldn't they? They've got it. They'll just slightly weather the, and change the color a little bit and brand it Jedi Survivor. And there you go. So that's where I'm a little concerned, because are they going to announce this trooper and then announce the trooper next week with the speeder bike, as a, what I mean?
Or they're just going to announce a speeder bike. And I mean, they can announce a speeder bike with, I mean, because that one kind of looks the same from, you know, the Return of the Jedi. Maybe with the Return of the Jedi line, maybe we'll get a speeder bike. You know, I mean, the Mando came with a swoop bike. You know, I mean, the swoop. What I'm saying is they sold the swoop bike separately. So maybe we'll get a separate speeder bike just sold separately, and then that way we can, you know, you can get multiple bikes.
Yeah.
Hopefully. OG fan, my dude, also celebrating a year of channel membership, says, "Oh my, I'm in the 1 year club also. Damn auto billing." Hail Mafia, Jay and Rob. Great discussion as always. May the 4th is coming.
Yes.
Prepare yourselves, my man, as well. Yeah, dude, of course. And Brian's right. They probably wait until May the 4th for Cal. I mean, yeah, that could be a thing. And Haas Hometown Heroes, my dude, thank you so much, dude, for that $5 bomb as well. He says, "Do I need 4? I already have 2 Mando scouts with the bike and a solo Return of the Jedi scout."
Wow.
And I say, yes.
Well, yeah,
man.
He's the commander. Now you have somebody to tell the other troopers what to do.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, dude. That would be really cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can never look. I learned this when I was a kid, getting 3 3/4 inch figures. You can never have enough stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
You always need more, no matter what.
They're fun. I'm not gonna lie. Well, listen. Well, there is kind of something, dude. Look, because I went a little crazy. I got rid of some, but I had 9 shore troopers, dude.
Damn.
Jay remembers.
I have 2. I have the 2 of them. They're cool though.
They're cool. Don't get me wrong, because I had my original from Rogue One, and then they dropped the grunts and then the squad leaders, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna build a bunch of, you know. And then I had this cool idea in my head, and then I don't know what happened. It fizzled out. I was like, you know what, this maybe isn't as cool as I thought it was. Because I was gonna make like this diorama set with all these shore troopers, but it didn't end up happening. But you know, this looks badass. I know it's a scout trooper. It's not the most exciting news out there, but I'm looking more, as I said earlier, the prospects of we'll be getting more, because now it's a branded VGM line.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty damn awesome. Enjoyed Brother Cousin's morning stream on this guy yesterday.
Thank you so
Hell
much.
yeah. Yeah. See, I did not watch. I'm not ashamed. I've been, you know, I forget. Sometimes we don't catch everybody.
I'm out.
But look, this is what happens when you be honest. No. It's been a week. You know what, dude? I got lost. Well, because you know, Saturday night for you guys in the chat, like last Saturday was rough. Everybody had just plans that had happened or whatever, so we didn't stream Saturday. And then I didn't do the Tuesday show for similar reasons as well. So I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's good. And you know, Jay, and you know, Rob, sometimes it's nice. Kind of have like a break a little bit, kind of relax. I played Ghost of Tsushima and beat the shit out of it all week. That was fun. I was like, all right, it's been a while since I've played something. So
that was me Thursday. I was like, I just need a day. And news was light, and I knew, like, I was like, everything's probably going to come out Friday morning, and then the rest of the week for May the 4th. So I was like, it really, I was like, I'm not going to talk about Venom for 2 hours. So,
no,
get it.
No, you don't want to talk about Venom for 2 hours? What about like 5 minutes?
Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm not getting it. There we go.
No, you're not getting the well, okay, so
it looks, I mean, look, I had the original. Me and you had the original one, and I sold it. I sold it because I was like, you know what? My collection is going in a different direction. I don't need it. But I will say, with their Tom Hardy head sculpt and him with Carnage together, it is a flex. It looks impressive. It looks great. I'm happy for anybody that's getting it. But the thing that I would probably try to dive back into it because they're both available. But that damn Carnage is just too goddamn big. What the hell? He's too big.
Yeah, he's very big. He's very big. Rob, did you end up picking up the first Venom when he dropped?
No.
Are you thinking about getting the second Venom?
You know what? I'll tell you something. I wasn't, but looking at that Carnage figure too, I'm like, I'd put those up on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty big though, like Jay was saying. I mean, that was my only throw. I mean, I don't even want to say that's a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of, right? Especially, I mean, Venom was already pretty big on his own, but then pairing him with Carnage, it's like, I feel like just Venom and Carnage need their own like �𝗔𝗩𝗘𝗢 case, like a DF, just so you can have them spread open and have all the tendrils out and these giant you know, rather than like a standard kind of pose, right? So
I totally agree.
Which I think they would look good together. They would look good together. So I just don't know. Carnage would look great next to your PS4 Kingpin. Oh yeah, I guess with Rob, yeah, he could look, you know, I mean, Carnage does look a little bit cool, but I mean, I agree, he's freaking huge though. Like he's huge,
ridiculous.
man.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Huge.
And he wasn't normally, I mean, I know he was in the movie, so I guess that's, you know, it's screen accurate to the film.
Yep.
But yeah, Venom's gonna be another pass for me too. It's just because like I'm you guys know that Insomniac is putting out Spider-Man 2 soon, and Venom's in it, and they made 8 Spider-Mans from the Spider-Man PS4 game.
That's
and then they made like 2 or 3 Miles from the Miles game.
Yep.
So I may have to wait till 2025, but I'm gonna get a Hot Toys Venom from, you know what I mean, that has a spider logo. That's kind of how I feel about that. So I know some of you in the chat have picked them up and got Carnage, which is pretty cool, man. But for me, I want to wait. I gotta wait.
I think the best thing is to wait for this one, because you're right, that the video game, he's gonna have the spider logo on it, and I mean, they can use the same tooling that they use with this on that one and just change it up a bit, and that will probably be the best, you know, most comic accurate Venom.
Sure.
So
yeah, I would say
it's best to wait.
And yeah, I know they didn't make any villains from the game, but I think that some of that stuff's changed a little bit, right? Because because they weren't really doing villains to begin with, in general. And then I think with the success of No Way Home, right? And then Hot Toys is like, hey, you guys, we heard you. We know you guys want villains. Here you go. Yep. Here's everything. And then obviously Spider-Man being Spider-Man, it's like, this is super popular. And I'm sure that they know their sales and how much they've sold from the game and the movie. So I don't know. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt on that one. I think we will. I think we're going to get a Venom. I really think we're going to get that Venom. So I'm kind of playing the long game, dude. Kind of playing the long game. A couple more here, because we didn't talk about this, and Rob, you have Justice League, so you're stoked, right?
Dying for this. Dying. I to me, Cyborg is a new Teen Titans character. Vic Stone is all the way back to George Perez and Marv Wolfman's New Teen Titans back from like 1980. So I'm a huge Titans fan. So it always bothered me when they felt that they needed, you know, for me, if you want to add some color to your Justice League, you put in a John Stewart. You know, you don't co-opt Cyborg from the Teen Titans, but they did. It's cool. I get it. But this is a great, I mean, look at that likeness. It's fantastic.
Amazing.
I mean, it's, I gotta say, you know, I always joke that Hot Toys is a racist company and they don't make enough characters of color, but they have been killing it with their black head sculpts. The Don Cheadle that came with the head sculpt with Iron Patriot from Endgame. Yeah. That Don Cheadle head sculpt is scary good.
It is.
It's scary good. And that's a great figure. And I can't wait to get the deluxe version. Yeah, I think it's die-cast, right?
No, unfortunately it's not.
Yeah, it's just plastic.
That would be great if it was die-cast.
Yeah, I think it's just because all the weaving and everything with this would be just a little too intricate, you know? But it does look cool. And listen, I've got, you know, it's in the other room, but my Mysterio's Illusion Iron Man is plastic, but he is just as, you know, I would argue he's a little bit more crazy with the detailing, right? Because he's like zombie Iron Man. He's all ripped up and pieces are all crunched and crumpled and ripped, and it's plastic, but it's cool. You're like, you know what? That's cool. I get that. I get that you know, you couldn't do this in die cast. I feel like that's kind of the same here. I mean, sure, maybe some parts they could have done the shoulder pauldrons and the gauntlets or something, but I still think this looks freaking sweet, dude. So I mean, I'm happy for you guys as well. I know Jay, you're picking them up too, right?
Oh, absolutely, definitely. I would have got them last week, but I just been like waiting because I got this day one on Sideshow when you know, when it was
been over
announced.
2 years.
Yeah. So I'm waiting to see what, you know, with Sideshow's kind of been killing it, you know, this year. They've been on it. I mean, stuff takes no longer than probably I've waited for stuff maybe a month. Like I already got my Luke, you know, and that's been like 3 weeks to a month. I got a notification for R2D2. It's on its way here next week. So I'm really waiting to see, instead of going, you know, buying it overseas, buying it from 10%, I wanted to see if, you know, are they going to get this in quick? So I'm just waiting to see if they get it. And I can't wait for it to come in. This is great. I do have to buy backwards on a few of the Justice League figures, but outside of that, this is a welcome to my collection. I think this figure right here, this was one of my most anticipated ones right here, and it looks good. They executed very well. It turned out really good. That head sculpt I agree with Rob, it's amazing. And what they're doing with like African American hair and likenesses, they're killing it over there. It's like, what the hell, y'all got somebody's mom over there helping y'all.
Yeah, no,
right?
I mean it's really great, and you know, it's interesting because it's something that, I mean, I'm just a white dude with privilege, but it never occurred to me that I would live in a world where there would be characters of color that they wouldn't make. You know, like where's the 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗔𝗓? Where's 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗧𝗏?
Yes.
You know, and I, first of all, some of the coolest looking characters, the 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗔𝗓 in the original Black Panther, those outfits are incredible.
Yes.
Where are those figures?
Yep.
Like, why didn't they ever? But
I think to counter, just to play advocate on it, I think it's just because they're not as popular.
But I think
so. From a business standpoint, they're like, are they gonna make a lot of money off of them?
But they made Shuri. You know, for Black Panther, they made Shuri, and she sits on my throne of Wakanda. They made the throne of Wakanda. I spent $100 buying a hunk of plastic of the throne of Wakanda from Hot Toys, just because I thought it was cool. But the 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗔𝗓 are kind of like the stormtroopers of the Marvel universe in the sense that you could never have enough.
That's right.
Sure, like you could definitely army build that. I mean,
yeah, you could have the two, and you could make the two main characters. You've got Danai Gurira, and you've got what's her face, Ayo, as well. You could make those two head sculpts, and then you could do the 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗔𝗓 bodies, and then if Hot Toys really wanted to do it, you could sell like 10 different Black female head sculpts that were kind of generic head sculpts and build an army. Because I would love to do a display with like the throne of Wakanda, T'Chaka, T'Challa, Killmonger, Shuri, and have 5 𝗕𝗓𝗏𝗔𝗓 figures on each side, and do like a Wakandan throne room. Wouldn't that be dope?
That'd be fucking amazing.
It would be amazing. Yeah, right.
I love it.
I mean, because as they say, Black action figures' lives matter. and dude, I know it's probably a bad joke. I just got canceled. But
not here, Rob. You're safe here, Rob.
But I really
mean
that.
Here.
The Anthony Mackie head sculpt on that Captain America figure.
They've been killing. That's what I'm saying. They've been killing it all year.
Killing it.
Yes.
And and also the ethnic characters like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Fantastic head sculpts.
Yes.
I mean, I would expect that a Chinese company would make Chinese characters, make them look good, but it's great to see. Man, I can't. I pre-ordered this because Tony Leung is one of my favorite actors. And
Internal Affairs.
Oh my god, dude! Hard boiled.
Amazing.
In the mood for love.
Yes.
In the mood for love. I mean, I love Tony Leung, and I had to rock the civilian linen. No one rocks a linen suit better than Tony Leung does.
No, but I'm curious how this is going to work with Sideshow, because he's not on Sideshow, right? I think I know the other one is, right. His his
which
default
came out.
Right. Well, yeah. He came out. Yeah, he did come out. You're right. Because that list is over now. And this was like an exclusive. I don't remember if it was. I don't remember what exclusive it was, Shanghai or I don't remember if you guys know.
How many pieces was this? Is it 350?
Yeah, something like that.
Something, yeah.
And
yeah.
I just think not a lot of people would buy this anyway. Like it's just a dude in a linen suit, but you've got the cool accessories.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think it would be, but of course, he's super famous.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe everybody in the chat might not know who he is, but he's very famous overseas.
Especially in China. Yeah, he's hugely famous. And he's been making movies for 30 years.
Does he come with that chair?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. But these are blogger photos, but I don't think he comes with the chair. Which makes me wonder where the chair came from and the table.
It may have came from the original Mandalorian figure from Iron Man.
Or you mean the Mandarin?
The Mandarin. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Mandarin.
Right. No, I know what you're talking about. Is that his? Is that Ben Kingsley's chair? I don't have that figure.
It looked like it was. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. And yeah, I probably wouldn't like if I were to get him, I probably wouldn't pose him with the effects. I've always thought a lot of it. I mean, maybe the rings don't look bad.
No,
you know, but I've never really liked using, or that's cool even, like something like that. But Rob, I think you're right. I mean, not a whole lot of people are gonna, you know, like you said, it's a guy in a suit, but still pretty damn cool. And yeah, I think it was like 350 pieces or something. Dude, they're dropping so much shit this week, dude.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I have to say that it's not fun anymore when there's all these figures that you want to buy and there's just no way. You know, it's to be there's to be, you'd have to be independently wealthy to buy all these figures. I mean, it used to be like you could manage and get all the figures you want. Now you can't.
No, dude, that's I mean, how it was for
quite
us.
wealthy.
We had, you know, when you want to talk about like Hot Toys, just as an example, as the company, like we had time. We had a lot of time. You know, it wasn't much. And I don't remember the exact numbers. So this is more of just, I'm kind of, you know, paraphrasing this because I don't remember, but there was a big, like from MMS 1 to like 200, it took quite a while.
Yeah.
And then from like 2 to 600, bro, it's been like 5 years.
Yeah.
I think so, you know, give or take, right? The numbers may not be 100% accurate, but the speed is the point that Rob's making, right? Because that's how I feel too. Like when we were buying, you know, when they started dropping New Hope stuff, we had time. We're like, oh, cool. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, I have it, and then there's, you know, there's a kind of a lull for a little bit because there wasn't a whole lot of shit, and then it just started ramping up, and now you're like, I can't. You know, and that's why I got rid of a lot of my stuff, because there was cool stuff. I mean, I think everything's cool. If like you said, if we were all wealthy, we'd have every single figure.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to get to a point where you're like, what matters more to me? I can't I can't be picking up every damn release, dude. I can't. No. There's no escape, especially nowadays too, dude, because it's not just well, I mean, not that it always ever was Hot Toys, but it's not just Hot Toys. I mean, everybody's bringing in heat, dude.
Third party figures are, I mean, So Toys is killing it. I mean, look at that Kingpin, Boss Man.
Yeah.
You know, that's a Hot Toys quality figure. That tailoring is fantastic. What X06 is doing with Star Trek figures, I mean, most of the community doesn't collect Star Trek, so that's fine. But they're, you know, as you know, Anthony, they're doing a killer job. And those, you know, it's $200 or whatever a pop. And if they're starting to put them out, like the thing about X06 is, it's almost like once a month now.
Yeah, it's coming quick.
In the case of, it's going to be twice a month. You know, with Archer and between Chakotay, 7 of 9, the Chair, and Archer, you could probably say that it's one a month.
Yeah, and then Harry Kim is in May. Wow. With more coming, and that's just one avenue if you're a Star Trek fan.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
You've got Locutus has been announced. You've got the Wrath of Khan figures that have been announced. You've got Disco McCoy's coming.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
and I want all those figures.
And that's the thing with the volume of all these companies making these figures. And now you got like, I mean, well, I know we're still waiting for the second release from like inArt and all that stuff, but you have all these different companies, and then you got third party throwing their things in there. I'll be honest with you, I don't know about y'all, but it's like I'm averaging a damn figure a week, maybe two.
Well, it's, you know, like what I don't like is I paid for my shipping from Toys Wonderland for my deluxe inArt Joker in January. I paid the shipping, and I'm like, the figure was paid off way before that, and I resent the fact that a company has $1,200 of my money, and I don't have my figure yet, and it's, look, I know that people rag on Toys Wonderland, but they're both good and bad for me. Their prices, I mean, you can get some really cheap stuff there now because I think they've overbought or whatever, and they've got to get rid of stuff, but people don't have the money to keep up anymore. You know, they just don't.
No, and the pricing going up, right? I mean, like,
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of you know, you bring this up, Jay. I just want to kind of bring this in too, because I don't know if you guys saw this with inArt the other day. They're showing optimizations for their Aragorn. And
I didn't see this.
Yeah, so they said official self-supporting channel, special accessories, black cloak publish, belt and belt buckle optimization, boot optimization, armor optimization.
So these are like a la carte things you can add to your figure?
No, this is them just saying, hey, we're doing updates. We listen to you guys.
Okay.
So I don't know, marching quilt and black cloak folded state and arrow bag and arrow jester pulling hand and so this is just kind of, they just showed a few pictures. I don't know if anybody had seen this. I've had mine on pre-order since they announced. So to me, I'm like, okay, this Rob, we don't even need to talk about you and Lord of the Rings. You know how it is. So it's like this to me is freaking sweet, dude. And the fact that they're doing some updates, they're showing us, hey, check it out. You know, we're listening to you guys. You know, and as far as I can tell, it's not like a additional, right? This is the update. So, you know, the MSRP was still the MSRP if you bought, you know what I mean? They're not changing that. They're updating their figure. Right. You know, which I think is amazing. So, yeah, I'm not sure, Rob, did we talk about this? Are you picking up the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I'm going to pick them up.
That's
I think. I figured. I mean, you know, I already bought a $300 Gandalf. Why not? What's another $300 and $500 Gandalf, or however much that thing costs? I mean, those figures are like, but I've said this before. Like when Justin was here covering the inArt event in Vegas, I was there with him when he was shooting his review videos for these inArts figures. So I had their first Aragorn prototype in my hand. Like I held the Bruce Wayne, I held the Joker, I held the Aragorn, I held the Gandalf. But here's the thing, they're incredible, but they're still only 1/6 scale figures,
right?
And even though they're really, really, really good, like for instance, I have a lot of the older third-party X-Men figures now that some of them So Toys put out, some other companies put out. Some of them are better than the others, you know, in terms of head sculpts or rooted hair or whatever. But when you put them all together in a case, they're 6 scale, but the tableau of setting them all up with the Patrick Stewart
stunning, right?
In a wheelchair with Magneto. Yeah, so you've suddenly created a shelf presence out of figures that aren't nearly as good as an inArts head sculpt, but they're still great to look at. Like they're still, and you know, when you the thing that struck me about these inArts figures is they're incredibly well made. Obviously, they look incredible, but when you're still holding them at 6 scale, you know, you're looking at them up on a shelf. How good do they have to be? You know, and that's where it comes. Like, okay, you're paying and philosophically, like I always believe, just buy everything. If I had the money, I just buy everything. I wouldn't care.
Sure, of course. I think we all would.
Right.
But philosophically speaking, when I look at these figures, I think to myself, okay, I mean, with the Joker, when I saw the the 2-pack, the Joker Deluxe I was like, click. It never really occurred to me because I wanted it, But at the end of the day, now I've got the first DX Heath Ledger Joker from Hot Toys from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do with that? I mean, that's a great figure, and I always had him displayed. He had his jacket open with his finger on the grenades. That's how I had him displayed, and I can do the same thing with this inArts figure. But how much different is the presence going to be when I put him on my shelf?
Right.
And that's true. That's the thing that I grapple with. Like these Aragorn figures, these figures are amazing, and if you're going to use them to I feel like I feel like I should start getting into action figure art. Action figure photography, because
that's what I love. That's what that's what got me really into it.
They're so good that you could do some really cool stuff.
I mean, looking at Rob, I feel your pain when it comes to Toyz Wonderland and waiting on a Joker, and I was going through that about a week ago, and mine showed up earlier this week on Monday, and I put it in my cabinet, and I put it next to the rest of my DC figures.
Wait, so you got yours?
I got mine. Yep.
Yours finally came in.
Yeah. Finally came in
from Toyz Wonderland.
From Toyz Wonderland. Finally,
and you got it this past week.
Got it on Monday.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Finally. And once I set it up and I looked at it, it's a work of art. It is. It looks like, especially with the root. I'll tell people this: if you're going to go inArt, do yourself a favor and go with the rooted hair.
Oh, yeah, but some people don't like root though.
To each his own. But I think looking at that figure aside to the rest of the other figures that I had, and I had it right next to the DX19, it looks good with the DX19 Batman. Looks good, really good together. But you can just tell. Now, I hear what you're saying, Rob. When you step away from it, I had people at my house, they're like, oh, 1/6 scale figures. It's great. I know what that is. But when you get in on it, it looks like a little person next to an action figure. It really does. It looks like a little person next to an action figure, and that's where I was like, "Shit, I need." Well,
let me ask you, because I've dabbled in many different forms of 6 scale figures, right? Whether it's back to World War II figures, all the way to Star Wars, to whatever, you name it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm used to having die-cast weapons and super amazing tailoring and soft goods and all that stuff. So taking that away. Right, because I know a lot of people were thinking this is like fucking some new invention, which it's been around forever. Right, it's been around for maybe not Hot Toys, but it's been around forever. So
exactly.
Aside from that, is it just primarily the sculpt that makes you feel like, wow, this is amazing? Like sculpt and or paint apps, or not to take away from the other things I just mentioned, but what makes it explode with fucking sunshine and rainbows? You know what I'm saying?
What got me is when I started, because actually when I pulled it out of the box, and I kind of said it during my review, when I pulled it out the box, I was like, it's just like fucking Hot Toys. Okay, the body, okay, whatever. The body looked kind of frumpy, honestly, when I pulled it out the box. I was like, okay. When I started posing it and I saw how it looked with the clothes and tailored and how you pose it, I was like, oh no, this looks like a fucking person. As soon as I started to pose it, it was a different experience than Hot Toys. And trust me, I'm not trying to oversell it just because it's a new figure in the collection. It really, the proportions, the way everything is cut, the cut and sew of everything, it looks like a little person. Hot Toys have done it very well for years. We all know that. That's why we collect Hot Toys. They have done it very well for years. That was my biggest beef when it came to sideshow figures. I thought sideshow figures looked like dolls because the dimensions on the clothing were never that right. They were never that good compared to Hot Toys. What inArt has done, they're not like
you feel like it's properly tailored.
It's properly tailored. Even the hunch in because he had a little hunch in his, his back was a little stooped. When I put the head sculpt on and I set him up, I said, "Oh shit, they got that. They got that." Yeah. So this
now, is it worth $1,000 though. Now, granted,
Well,
overseas
it's 2 figures. It's 2
it
figures.
is, but
Yeah.
that's 2 $500 figures.
Yeah.
If
But
we
I
were
think
to
with
just,
the die cast accessories and you get the diorama, the prison thing and everything, and the capsules for the head sculpts.
Yeah.
You know that.
yeah, those are kind of neat.
The
Yeah.
presentation with the I'll
I mean,
say
I
this,
agree.
with inflation. Well, I'll say this with the inflation and with the presentation, and you can see they went the extra mile.
right.
I would say it's hard to say it's worth $1,000. I would say more about 800 to 900, but still, it's worth what they're charging for it. That
Well,
2-pack.
overseas, I think it's retailing at like 7 something, right? That was, but then we got a markup over
7,
here.
8. I think if it was 8, I think you wouldn't have no complaints.
Because I think
8.
Joel got his for under 8 in China.
If it was 8, I would feel way better if I paid $800 for it. I would say that. If it was like $799, perfect. That would have been
Right.
a perfect. And I think they need to. I think once they work that out with their future releases, that because I do think the box was a little too grandiose. I think the box was like way
Yeah.
oversized. I
Well,
was
because
like,
let's be real. I mean, like, people are like, because I've heard the counterpoints where people are like, oh, it's totally worth it, man. You should see the box. I'm like, I don't care about a box.
The box is
Like,
ridiculous.
at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. When I saw it, I was like, this is like, even on the review, you see it. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. I was like, this box can be way smaller. Come on. I think because, and you know what, I get it. It was their first release. So I understand why they went all out like that. But in the future,
Sure.
I think the boxes will get smaller. And I think it would behoove them to bring that price down a little bit. I think they would get more buy-in. But the overall product, it's really fucking good. It is. It's really it's worth the hype, but not over the hype. If that makes any sense, I'm not gonna over. At the end of the day, I feel what Rob is saying. It's just a 1/6 scale figure. At the end of the day, I'll get more shit in. By the time I get Cyborg, and I'm gonna be like, oh my god, Cyborg, and I'm gonna look at this figure. And I'm
Right. Like, your eyes are just going to go to the next new, type of thing. And
exactly. But once you put a lens on that, if you're into photography, you put a lens on that fucker.
yeah.
It looks like Heath Ledger. It's scary. It looks damn good. But you got to do that to really enjoy it. You have to sit there on it and look at it. Because if I just walk past it, it's just another 1/6 scale figure. But when you sit back and put it in like a detail and display it like a piece of art, it's worth its weight. It's worth its weight in gold.
But now here's the
my
thing.
favorite figure.
Okay, if let's say you're gonna rock the Gandalf, and you're gonna go for Aragorn.
Rocking the Gandalf.
Well, wouldn't you want the entire Fellowship?
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing.
I mean,
talked to,
that's the thing. I feel like you got 4 hobbits. I mean, if they were smart, like if inArts would do a 4-pack of the hobbits and charge $800 for the 4-pack, I would do that.
Easy
well,
money.
yeah, I think Lord of the Rings fans would definitely do it. The problem is there's 2 things here, right? So recently, was it Pop Toys? Someone just recently, and this is kind of a little behind the scenes stuff in the 6 scale world, but somebody recently has made the child body, as it were. Stranger Things is using it. A couple other companies are now going to use these bodies. They may be a little too tall. I don't know. Where are my Stranger Things? I'd have to look in comparison. They may be still a little too tall for hobbits, but the body is the most expensive thing, right? If a company has to create a new body, I would love them to do it. I know when I had John on a few times on the show, I kept nagging him about it, and he said, and I get it, it's kind of political response, but it's like, Aragorn, Gandalf, Legolas, even though they do show the Nazgul, right? The ring right, they haven't, but take that away, you got 3 main of the Fellowship, and I was like, yo, we need a Fellowship, but he's like, well, at this time we don't have any plans on it, Well,
but that's such a weird. To me, it's like, okay, the thing about collecting a piece like a Gandalf or an Aragorn is, if you just have those 2. I mean, any collector is going to look at that and go, why can't I have an inArts Fellowship? That would be the whole point of collecting, to have the Fellowship. And to buy, like, I don't know. I mean, Aragorn's cool and Gandalf's cool, but I could never make a display where I'm not thinking to myself, why isn't the whole Fellowship there? And then what I would do is I would go get the previous Sideshow figures that they released, or Erasmus, or whatever the hell I would just go complete the fellowship, and then you'd have all of them.
We may have to.
Yeah,
but in my head, I know how these companies work, so it's like,
but
it's psychological mind game. You're like, well, do I buy the 3 fellowship currently, or miss them, and then a year or 2 from now they continue the fellowship, and then these 3 have already been sold out. But then they're like, and that's how they get you, because they know that it's like, you know that I know that you know that I know type thing, right? So they're like, well, we're gonna make them buy it because we're gonna make them think that we're gonna bring it out, but we actually could maybe bring it out. You see what I'm saying? It's just the mind games. So, and I don't want to miss the 3 figures for that very reason. Now, if we're stuck, then we're stuck.
But let me ask you both this question: do you think they want to kind of like, because what inArt is doing, we've seen this before in the early days of Hot Toys, where we have different licenses and all this diversity. Do you think that they don't want to become what Hot Toys have become, and get, being locked down to 2 major properties, Star Wars and all Disney stuff?
No. I think any company, whether it's 6 scale, shoes, whatever you want to call it, kitchenware, you name it, every company wants to be as successful as they can, right? The problem with inArts, it's not that they don't want to do it, it's they don't have global licensing, bro.
Yeah.
Apparently they have it for Dune, but who's buying Dune figures? Like, we can all raise our hand and be like, that's cool, I'll get a Paul Atreides, whatever, right?
Well, that's the thing. There's that other third-party Paul Atreides that's coming out that looks really good.
That's right.
That's true too.
And I'll get that. And another thing about it is, this is going to seem, I don't know, kind of morbid, but it's gotten to the point where I'm starting to think about how old I am, and the waiting for 2 years for these figures to build a set or to build all of the characters that you want is getting to the point where I'm like, I don't have time anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have time to wait. And if you want to get, like, with the Dune figures, like, I'd love to get a Paul and a Chani and maybe Jessica and Stilgar or something. Like, I would love to get that. But having, like, these random figures, like a Dune figure, to me, then I have, like, a sci-fi display of one-off characters, like Snake Plissken or RoboCop or, and you put them all. Yeah,
most of my stuff is all kind of one-off-ish.
And you for that reason. Like, because I really like I like movie characters that aren't, I've got the damn Toyz Godfather figures, and I've got a present Toyz Michael Corleone, and I've got all these, these different, and putting them all together on the shelf is fun. I mean, I like doing that. I have those Heat figures, the De Niro and the Al Pacino.
That pisses me off. They reissued those, Rob, and then I had them pre-ordered with Kit, and it's not no fault to Kit. But then Kit canceled my pre-orders, and I was like, I messaged him. I'm like, what happened? Was there, was it something was there a problem? And he's like, no, there was not enough interest.
Yeah,
for the company to reissue. And I was like, bro, I need these Heat figures. I missed them the first time.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like, I was figuring out, like, I was posing my Eddie Murphy, the Beverly Hills Cop.
I gotta get that.
The Eddie Murphy.
Damn, that looks good.
Because he's he's in the pose that he's in on the poster for Beverly Hills. Yeah. That's what he's not on a stand, but I mean the head sculpt is from certain angles it looks better than others, but but it's still a great I love this figure.
I know a guy,
the Mumford.
If you need, he does some sculpts. He made the Magnum PI that I have, and he made an Axel Foley.
Will the head work on that body?
Yeah, it should. I'll message him.
I would love.
I thought about it too, because I saw the head. I was like, but he made one. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's Axel Foley right there.
Yeah, that's what because I like the figure, but it's cool because I'll have like the Axel Foley figure next to the Vincent Hanna figure from Heat, and whatever other, because I've got the Fight Club Tyler Durden 2-pack that Blitzway made, and I mean, I like those. I like and putting the Crow next to Snake Plissken, next to RoboCop, next to
that's
very cool.
You have Snake Plissken. I do not, but I have Jack Burton.
Yeah, see, I
And you do
get
not.
that Jack Burton. I need to get
I know.
that Jack Burton.
And I need the Snake Plissken, so it's like, shit. Sideshow made great figures. I mean, they still do from time to time. It's never like, I know a lot of people shit on them, but dude, I got a lot of Sideshow figures.
Second brother pulled out his dirty Harry today. We unboxed it this morning.
Fuck, that reminds me, dude. I
Is that
probably
the new
missed it.
Is that a Sideshow? Is that
And it's waitlisted.
I was gonna tell you, that just reminded me, bro. Because I get so many fucking emails. My waitlist converted, and I totally forgot. I don't even know if I can click it.
It's so weird that those special edition Clint Eastwood figures could waitlist. You'd think they'd make as many as they needed to make.
Nope.
Right, because it's Sideshow, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not coming in from other companies. Like it's
Right.
their.
$500 on the secondary market right now. That's what he's going for.
Do I need to check and see if because my waitlist converted? I just totally forgot about it until you mentioned. I've been deep in Ghost of fucking Tsushima, dude. So I was like,
I have that figure.
You know, the funny thing about that is I made a trade like 6 months ago, and Jin Sakai was one of them, and a few others. And I was like, okay, I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm gonna flip it. You know, that's why I did the trade, make a few bucks, right? Didn't even open the damn thing. And then I started finally playing the game, and I beat it, and I'm like, dude, this is so badass. I'm like,
dude, that figure is amazing.
And I don't have it anymore. I never even opened the box, so now I want to. I know.
If you open the box, you'd be very upset that you.
Yeah. Now I want to get them. I really want to get them now because I didn't know. I never played the game, and then I was like, wow, this is like Assassin's Creed, kind of. You know, it was just, and that's one of my favorites too. So I was like, shit. But real quick, I do have a $10 super chat, dude, from my clitoris, my man. Not to get too political, but I'd caution having a lot of cash tied up in orders from Chinese resellers right now. We are a year or a day from major political insecurity with that part of the world. That's true. That's true. Look, I first of all, I appreciate the super chat, brother. But secondly, I would agree with that to a point because we talk about this a lot, and there's a lot of people out there that are just resellers and not like retailers, which are kind of different.
Wonderland.
Yeah, they can go tits up tomorrow, bro.
Yep.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to, naysay and panic, but they can be like, fuck it. I mean, literal companies did that shit. Molecule 8 took everybody's fucking money and ran.
Although I have my John Lennon.
What? Right? So you never know. Like, there's always.
By the way,
to say that
figure is amazing.
I want that so bad.
That Molecule 8 John Lennon is so good.
I want that so bad.
And it's really it's a shame that company, because they were going to do a quarter scale Jack Burton, and I wanted their Gene Wilder Willy Wonka. I mean, it was such the fact that they just that made me angry.
Have you been paying attention to Mars Toys?
Yeah, there's great stuff. I mean, but that head sculpt isn't nearly as good as the
sure, I'll give it that.
You know,
I haven't seen.
Okay, so there's 3 head sculpts, just like the Joker.
Yeah,
this looks good.
So, and a Oompa Loompa.
But this is great.
You get over.
So I agree. I don't think the likeness of Gene Wilder's there, but kind of. I think the smiling one is probably the most accurate, but even then, it's a little off.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. It's not quite there.
It's not too. It's not bad though. It's not.
There's something too soft. His cheeks, his face doesn't quite look right.
But also, prototype shown, final product may be slightly different.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's kind of hard to. I don't know. But hey, they got a cool promo going on with 1/6 kit. If you buy it from 1/6 kit, they're throwing in fucking golden tickets in some of the boxes, and if you get a golden ticket, you get $100 off your next purchase on 1/6 kit. Cool. And I was like, okay, that's fucking cool.
That is.
I appreciate the marketing there. This is tough for me. And they did tease Johnny Depp, but I don't really. That one's not for me. So they are putting out a Wonka that's Charlie Depp or Johnny Depp. I didn't even So, but this is cool, man. So you know, Rob, you and I are talking about that where we're like, hey, you know, we like one-off stuff, and you know, I wouldn't say this is obscure, but certainly people of this generation probably aren't too familiar with it, and that makes me sound old just saying that. But they may know more of Johnny Depp, rather, right? Certainly, probably never read like the books, which, you know, now they're changing the words in the books, but whatever to that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's kind of cool, man. The fact you get an Oompa Loompa.
No, it's cool. I just wish the face sculpt was a little stronger.
I agree.
You know?
I agree. I do agree. What do you think, Jay? This is your first time seeing it?
I saw it a little bit yesterday after the stream went off, and honestly, I'm just happy that people are doing stuff like this. This is what I love.
Me too.
I love obscure figures. That's the thing. I want stuff. I mean, I love Marvel. I love DC. I love Star Wars. But damn it, I got so much of that shit and so much more coming in. So to get something unique like this, I think these are the pieces where people like. I had friends over last Saturday, and they stayed down here. Like, this was like the highlight of them being over, and the figures that they liked, of course, they liked a lot of the Marvel shit. They liked that.
Sure.
They were drawn to the Back to the Future stuff. They were drawn to Bill and Ted. This one guy was like, "You have fucking Bill and Ted? I didn't even know they made Bill and Ted figures." I was like, "Well, here they are." So, you know, stuff like that. I want the more obscure shit. If I can get some damn Lost Boys, you know, come on, you know, something like that.
Oh yeah, if somebody made all of them, kind of like what 𝗕𝗘𝗢𝗍 did with or 𝗕𝗓𝗍 did with the Ghostbusters. I'd love to see something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we've got the present Toys ones coming, but I don't think that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But something like that where we have a third party that can bring in. I'll bring up two things really quick. But Ant-Man, my dude, celebrate 14 months channel membership. My man says lots of figures are dropping this month. Love that so Mr. Knight specifically. Dude.
Oh, that Mr. Knight is amazing.
I think that looks great. Oh, Robbie just sent me something.
I just sent you the Molecule 8.
Ooh,
Willy Wonka.
Okay, let's see if I can bring that one up.
What it was going to look like.
Well, I know Trevor, my man, 1/6 shooter in the house too. I agree with that as well, right? There's been a custom grail for years, and that was dope. My problem with this, and this is inevitable. This always happens, and I'm going to bring this up here in a second. What Rob just sent me, but the problem is inevitably the world that we live in with third-party figures or companies. These badass customs come out, and they're $1,500, $2,000, $3,000, and if you miss them, they go up even higher. I see them go $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. You know, because they're super custom, like 10, 12, 15 figures maybe. But the third parties always get a hold of them, and they recast them, and they do their own thing. Or, you know, of course, it may not obviously be the same, but for $200 versus like $2,000. At the end of the day, when we're all like, yo, they are 6-scale figures, right? It's so that's for me. I'm like, shit, because I've seen a lot of dope customs. And Rob, so this was Molecule 8?
That was what Molecule 8 looked like. I mean, that's Gene Wilder.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
And then, I mean, they're tailoring. Did you already put up the picture of the whole full body?
Bam.
Yeah, I mean, look at
wow, what the fuck?
Yeah, see, the Molecule 8, and they also included, like on the John Lennon figure, multiple heads. There was 2 head sculpts.
Damn. Yeah. See that's the figure that looks like Gene Wilder. I mean that's like, yeah. That's exactly. That's clean, bro. Like that looks,
It almost looks like a still.
it almost does, man.
I mean, the figures they were doing were. It's a shame that company went belly up, because just based on the John Lennon figure, I was like, man, what a bummer.
I know.
And you know what's really cool? What was cool about Molecule 8 is the figures had internal metal skeletons. Oh, wow. And so the whole skeleton was metal, and the base is a magnet. That white base is a magnet, and I know that inArts kind of did that, but that magnet is very powerful, And so it would take a lot to knock over that figure.
Right. Damn, man. Well, this does look pretty badass.
I
But
know.
unfortunately, it's a thing of the past, man. That sucks. But that's, you know, that's how the story goes, man. So we get what we get when we can get them. I mean, it's pretty dope. Yo, look, Top Gun would be cool. Look, here's the thing though, and I know, you know, what was it? Collector was mentioning Risky Business. Tom Cruise will not give away. I mean, obviously it is third party. We have third party Tom Cruises already, but Tom Cruise will not ever give away his likeness. I think he's just not.
Although I have a pretty good Ethan Hawke. I have a Mission Impossible Fallout Ethan Hawke that's right over there. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. No, I remember, you know, but like I said, he's that guy now where you're like, no.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember too, like, and Bretta brought it back up to me, man, because I forgot, like, that. When was it? I don't have the post here, but he refreshed my memory. I remember when Hot Toys announced the '89 Joker, the Jack Nicholson. Did you see that, Jay? Remember? And they put out that post. Hot Toys put out that post saying, "Hey, you know, this is really fucking hard, man. Because he never wants to do this, but we were fortunate enough to get, you know, Jack Nicholson's, you know, sign off on the Joker. You know, forget about that. They made that post years and years ago. Which is the other thing, you know, with them. Like, he does not, like, that was then. I don't think because a lot of people say that when they see the new '89 Batman, they're like, well, we're gonna get another Joker. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think so, dude. Because some of these actors, they just don't want to do it flat out, or it's too much money, which does it, you know, because you got to understand it through a business point. It's like, well, wait a minute, if you pay too much and not make any profit, you know what I'm saying, then it's not even worth doing it. It's not even worth doing it, man.
And I think that's the thing with Hot Toys. I think they're moving forward. I mean, it's so many iterations of Batman. I mean, you still got a big people, like we were just talking about the Dark Knight, and now you have Ben Affleck's Batman. You also have Pattinson. So I don't think, you know, I think they would pay for it if they thought they would make some big money off of it, but I don't. To me, I don't think for them, they don't think the money is there for them to shell that money out. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it would offset it. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not worth the money.
Yeah.
I want a Raylan Givens. I'll take a Raylan Givens any day. I love Justified.
Yeah.
You know, that's Timothy Oliphant. That's cobb-vanth for you Star Wars fans. Justified was badass and
great show.
He pretty much kind of, it's funny because, you know, he originally, you know, he was fuck is his name, dude, in Deadwood. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I forgot his name in Deadwood. But he's always been that archetype, you know what I mean? And then, you know, he did Justified as the Marshal, came in as, you know, Cobb-Vanth, kind of the same thing. He's playing as Marshal. Like, I would love a Justified figure, yeah. Domino, even, yeah. Everything you just said is cool, man. I think we'll probably get another Superman. If I was a gambling man, because it's the 100-year anniversary from Warner Brothers, Hot Toys made that announcement. Seth Bullock, thank you, my man. It's been a while. And yeah, Justified's coming back, like a Chicago style. I can't wait to see that.
All I can say is that based on the end of The Flash, I could see new and reissues of older DC stuff showing up.
I assumed such just with the trailer. And I know there's probably more that you don't want to spoil for people, but just I understand what you're saying, because like just with the trailer, I was like, oh, fucking Zod.
Yeah.
Like, there we go. We can have Zod again.
Yeah, Zod's a grail.
No, because I mean I have those masks. The Zod figure and the Jor-El figure are great figures. Although I don't like the clenched fit mouth on the Zod figure.
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem with 6-scale figures. It's very okay. Just Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, it works for her. Her face.
Yeah.
I'll say Mira Sulu. works.
Well, that works because it's such an iconic. It's from the is Spock here. It's such a great moment in the episode.
Yeah,
but yeah,
leaning towards neutrals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. It's better. So maybe I could definitely see them reissue Zod, but I would say that I would because of the 100-year anniversary, I wouldn't be surprised if they reissue, because they're reissuing all the Batman figures. I'd love to see. I love my Christopher Reeve hot toy. I love that figure. It's still a great figure. Do you think? I mean, if they re-release that figure, people would buy the shit out of that.
Yes.
Yeah, and with like I said, the 100th anniversary, like what better figure to put out, in my opinion. A lot of people missed it.
Yep.
So, sorry, I was just getting a message. Yeah, a lot of people missed that. You know, myself included. What I really wanted was the evil Superman.
Oh yeah,
another good one.
Superman 3. Like I liked that.
Yep.
I did not get it. And the problem is even though a lot of folks do have Christopher Reeves, it's not without its problems, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some issues with the figure now being kind of, so do it. Give us another one. Give us Rolling Eyes, update to, I would be all for that. I mean, I don't know how you guys would feel about it if you both own Christopher Reeves, but
it would be good to have an update for that figure.
It's
great, but it does. And Rob, I think you would agree. It's great, but it does show its age.
Yes, it's a great figure, and I think it still works because it's simple.
Yes,
the outfit is simple, and the head sculpt is really good, and it could stand for an update.
Yeah, I think so.
It still
a lot of these.
Great.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, like my Ripley, I think could use an update, but I'm cool with her.
Yeah, you mean the Alien Ripley?
Yeah, because the old Aliens one is way old. That's that's beginning times.
Yeah, and I have that. I have the Ripley and the Power Loader.
Really?
They teased.
Yeah,
they teased it. At 2016, right, at San Diego, the 2.0, and I'm like,
here's the funny thing about they didn't have the likeness rights for Sigourney Weaver,
right?
So it doesn't. It kind of looks like her, and I used to have. Until my storage locker debacle, I had all the Colonial Marines, and I had all the Rocky figures, and I had I had all of it was such a I had about $100,000 worth of toys in a storage locker that got sold out from under me.
Oh fuck!
And I can't. And my book collection, it was so I had a storage locker for 12 years, and for 12 years, and I had got a new debit card, and if there was ever a problem, the people that ran the storage place would call me. Well, it was kind of a confluence of events. They didn't call me, and I got this new debit card, and then the people that knew me were replaced. And after about 45 days, I hadn't paid my rent for about 45 days, and I called them. I said, "Hey, clearly I have a new debit card," and they're like, "Oh, we already auctioned off your storage locker." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Damn.
No, we auctioned it off. And I was a customer at this place for 12 years.
That's fucked up.
And it was I lost all my die-cast Bandai. I had every Soul of Chogokin super robot, Japanese super robot, and they were all like,
oh yeah, dude.
I had all the Rambo vintage hot toys. I had all the Colonial Marines, all the early Predators, all the Alien figures. It was the amount of stuff that I lost. My hardcover first edition Dark Fantasy collection, Anne Rice, first edition of Interview with the Vampire, all the first editions of the small press Dark Tower Stephen King books. I mean, a lifetime worth of collecting.
Yeah,
and
Jesus,
all gone.
That's crazy.
All gone.
That's oh my god. That's
and because when the reason, one of the things that they had no incentive to check, because I had been there for 12 years, so I was locked in on my rate. And where I was in Hollywood, your storage facility, I was paying $250 a month my storage it went up to $1,000 a month, but I was locked in at $250. So they were incentivized to get rid of me.
Right, because you were just still grandfathered in on these.
Yeah, and the new people that had come in, so they didn't call me. You know, it's not theirs, but and I called them up and I'm like, guys, I've been here for 12 years, and they're like, sorry.
Yeah, because anybody else would have been like, this guy's been here for 12 years. Let's check and see.
If they can get away with it, they don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit.
They don't give a shit.
And I lost like my entire Star Trek novel collection. I had every Star Trek novel.
Damn.
Since I was a kid. And my hardcover book collection of all of these small press horror titles. And it was what I've been collecting literally my whole life. And it was interesting because I had like, I've never had real trauma in my life, but because of that, I know I had PTSD for like 6 months. I would wake up in the middle of the night feeling terrible. It was like, because it was literally my entire life.
Yeah,
just ripped away from you, like
my entire life. And I know it was just stuff. I mean, I had to get over it the same way I'm sure somebody who loses a house in a tornado or a fire would feel. But and theoretically, you could get all that stuff again. But like Anne Rice passed away. I can never get her autograph. I'm never going to be able to get a book that says "To Robert, my best Anne Rice." You know, and all the authors. Those are the only things I ever collected in terms of autographs. Were authors' signatures. My favorite authors: Harlan Ellison, gone. Ray Bradbury, gone. I mean, my book collection alone was worth a lot of money. Tens of thousands of dollars, and to have lost, and I lost a good deal of my collection. You know, I never even took those Hot Toys Colonial Marines out of the box.
Jesus.
It was all brand new.
Did it take you a while to start collecting again after that?
Well, no, because what was interesting was the reason that I had a storage locker is because when I got married, we were living in kind of a small place, and so I had a bunch of stuff that I still collected that I had displayed in our house. But then I would take things and move stuff around and take stuff to the store because our storage locker was half a mile from where I lived. Right. So it was really, or a mile from where I lived. And it was really easy for me to just go there and swap stuff out. And it was really interesting because, all of it was organized. My storage locker was really organized. Like you could go in there and I could find anything I wanted.
It's all cataloged and.
Yeah, it was all cataloged, and it was just. I mean, I can't tell you how, and it took years to get over it because I would remember, and then I would realize, I don't have that anymore.
Shit.
I was similar. Well, I didn't have quite the ordeal as you did, but for a while, it was my early 20s, I think. I might have been 19, 20, 21. And I was with this girl for a while, and we parted ways, and she had a storage, and me being stupid, being fucking 19 or 20, I'm like, well, let me put all my stuff in your storage right now, and then I'll get my own place, and then I'll come grab my stuff. And dude, I know it's funny, right? Because it's like Playmates, but it was like every Star Trek Playmates figure like ever made. I still had sealed. I had tons of autographs from all the casts, from people obviously now who are no longer with us, from original series and onward. And fucking dude, gone, all gone. She said she lost the storage, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't buy it. I think she sold all my shit.
Well, what was really interesting was like I had a lot of Japanese die-cast toys, like from Robotech. I had probably 30 1/48 scale Valkyries and Batroids from Macross or Robotech.
Oh shit, yeah.
And those things were really, they were made by a company called Yamato. They were really, really expensive, and I had like 25 or 30 of them. And I'd never, a lot of them I'd never taken out of the box because I never had a place to display them, and I was collecting them, and I figured one day I'll have, like, now I live in a house finally, and this happened 10 years ago, 11 years ago, but it was it was traumatic.
Well, like you said, you're like, oh wait, no, I don't have that, right? Because you have other stuff, and you kind of recall that. You're like, fuck.
And the funny thing is I had lots of like Gundams, like a lot of die cast, the 300 Gundams.
Yeah.
You know, and I had so much stuff, and so my collection now is I still have a lot of great stuff, but it isn't. I mean, I used to have, it went deep, and it represented different eras. Like I had Mego Star Trek the motion picture figures back from 1979.
Oh wow.
You know, and I had all of the Star Wars sideshow releases. The 6 scale, all of them. And some of them I wanted, like the Rebel Soldiers from the 2-pack Rebel Soldiers from Return of the Jedi. There was a lot of that stuff. I mean, Hot Toys has re-released a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff they haven't.
Right.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah. And I had it all. And it's just, I had all the Hot Toys Buffy figure. I mean, the sideshow Buffy figures. I had all the James Bond figures.
Shit. That sucks.
And that stuff, like, I don't think that stuff was not great anyway. So I wouldn't go back and buy those James Bond figures now. Those, like, maybe the Sean Connery Thunderball figure. I might have went and got that.
Well, it's the fact that you had them.
Well, that's the thing. I had them all.
Yeah.
So and I could make a killer display, and people would be like, oh my God. And those figures, I started collecting 6 scale again when Hasbro started making figures, like for the time of the special edition, they started making 6 scale again. And then I was totally not collecting figures until they started doing that. And I was collecting the Playmates 9-inch Star Trek figures with the cloth uniforms that they were pretty good. Those are really good. And that's what got me back into figure collecting. And when Hot Toys first came on the scene, the first thing that, I mean, I do have the very first Hot Toy they made was the Director, which is George Lucas. I have that figure. I still have it. And so when they came on the scene, their first license was Alien and Predator. And they were called kits. Okay, they couldn't call them out, and you had to put them all together.
Yeah.
And those mesh Predator suits were so hard to not rip when you put them on. So
that's why I'm glad they remade this classic one here, because I was like, dude, I can't. Those kits are a bitch. And
they were, but that's all you could get, and they were so great. And at the time, I bought every Hot Toy release, every single one. So, yeah.
Well,
I would say there's a lesson.
But
there was a lesson there. You know, and the funny thing is, I mean, there's lots of worse tragedies that can befall you.
Sure,
and it certainly wasn't. It wasn't life threatening.
Yeah.
But it did represent a lot of my life.
Yeah.
You know, and like every one of those Star Trek books or every one of the books I owned, I had to go. It wasn't like there was Amazon, so it represented. You had to go and get all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And that was 3 different Endor Rebel Scout Troopers, one with the beard who was retconned to be Captain Rex. Yes, that's what they were, that 3-pack. You know, again, and I would love to have had that stuff because you could make killer Star Wars displays.
Oh yeah,
with 6 scale figures. Because Hot Toys are never going to make Endor Scout soldiers. Or maybe they will.
No,
but I doubt it.
But it's at the pace that we're at now, like we've talked about, like they're just cranking out so much other, like, I don't want to say top tier, but like the A characters stuff, right? Because Disney Plus is just the, you know, they're the machine, just cranking out products. So Hot Toys is like, well, shit, well, here's another Captain America, here's another Loki, here's another, you know, whatever. We don't have time to make a Endor group. You know what I'm saying? So it sucks. It sucks. Yeah.
But it's a weird thing, you know. And then what it does to you is the collecting mentality. I mean, I still collect stuff, but I know that I had 70% more stuff that is just gone.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Right.
But as you move through life, you realize it's just stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing like I had a fire in 2016, and That's like, I think at that time I probably had 30 Hot Toys. Most of them were like the Avengers line, my DX13, and I think the newest figures I had at that point was the Han and Chewie 2-pack. And I remember when the fire happened, I remember just seeing people walk through the house and just walk through our apartment, and we were there for like, it was an apartment, we were there for like 36, like, I hate to say it, like 36 years, the only place I lived. And it was terrifying. It was horrible. But I remember the fire chief came out and he said, he was like, you guys won't be able to go in for a couple of days. We got to make sure it's, habitable for human life. And he turned and looked at me and said, son, you have a great collection. Most of it is intact. Most of everything is intact. He said, I can't tell you what, but he said, but your Star Wars stuff is fine. Your Avengers are fine. Because he was a fan, obviously. And I was just like, the relief was just like, thank God.
But did it smell like smoke?
For a while they did. And I was just like, fuck. But I remember after that happened, and there was some stuff that I lost. Like, and it doesn't seem to be a big deal, but when that damn Batman, when the Batman and Robin figures came out, the Val Kilmer ones came out this year, I remember having the McDonald's Batman cups, glasses. I used to drink those.
Oh yeah, it was big.
Those were lost in the fire, and I remember I was like, I couldn't, and I was like, I have them somewhere. I couldn't find them, and I was like, wait a minute, fuck. I lost those in the fire. And then I was like, wait a minute, I had this figure. I had a whole bunch of like McFarlane figures that I lost in the fire. And I was like, I have that. I was like, shit, I don't have that Spawn.
Yeah, I had all the people forget but when the McFarlane Spawn figures first came out, they were awesome.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
They were just awesome. Yep. And I had those were all in my storage locker. All the Gen 1 Spawn figures. And I had like the large scale Spawn and the large scale Angela. Yes. I had the Sideshow Dark Crystal figures when they made the two Gelflings from Dark Crystal. I mean, I would love to have those again because those figures were great. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff like the early Army of Darkness figures that Sideshow made, I had all of that shit. All of it.
Shit.
Oh god.
Ugh.
Yeah, Winman said he moved and a good friend sold most of his figures without asking or telling him.
Damn.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, Justin lost everything in Hurricane Katrina. Michael Jordan rookie card, Shaq rookie, all the
Oh my god. Jesus.
It's and like you said, Rob, I know like there could be worse things, but
yeah, I mean that's everyone's like but it's just stuff, and you're like,
as a collector though, you're like, no, that doesn't just discount what happened to me though. Right. I could still feel like, really shitty about this situation. It's not cool.
And it was just for me, it was the representation of my life, of time. Yeah. Like my hardcover book collection, because I had memories of meeting the authors and when these books came out and how I had to get all the small press books, and those books now, some of them are just worth thousands of dollars, and I would not buy them again because, when you move through your life, you get to a point where I'm going to get to a point probably fairly quickly soon where I'm not going to collect anything anymore. If I was 30, then you have a whole life in front of you where you can collect things. But as you get older, collecting pop culture memorabilia seems like because you're kind of on the other side of it all, if that makes any sense. Like being a Star Wars fan since I was 10 years old, getting Hot Toys Star Wars figures. Now I've been collecting Star Wars figures for 45 years of my life. And now we're getting the best versions of Star Wars figures that ever existed or ever will exist. So it's the kind of thing where you want to you want to keep collecting them, but I would rather have had those Hot Toys figures when I was 30.
So
I would have more of a lifetime of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. Yep.
Well, yeah, because as we get older, we're at that point, we're just kind of like, fuck it. It's gone. It's whatever. It's not as, it's very demoralizing on top of it all, because you're just like, because I know what you mean when you're talking about like, I've been to over a dozen Star Trek conventions, and, part of that, you know, in the storage. I mean, like you said, it's a life experience. It's more than just a collection. Like I remember when I met Patrick Stewart, you know what I mean? I remember all those getting autographs and Jonathan Frakes and, you know, all these people, like, and that shit's gone. And you're like,
yeah, and it's a weird thing because, and it was fun. Here's another weird thing: as you get older, now, I mean, all my friends are geeks, but it's really cool to have a great collection and have other people come and admire it.
Right.
You know, that's part of the fun of it. You set things up and people are like, oh, look at all this stuff. And I know that my collection was much more impressive at one point. And then it's fine. But now everybody, like with Hot Toys, all the people I know, I was the only person collecting Hot Toys in the beginning. Nobody knew what they were. No. And now it's like I can never ever have as many Hot Toys as Justin. You know, Justin has, you know, and so I can't, no one's ever going to come to my house and go, oh, you have the best collection, because there's always somebody ahead of me. Well,
but yeah, we got to understand there's, you know, for us, we're kind of on this side of the fence, whereas everybody, almost 99% of everybody we associate with in life are on this side of the fence.
Well, yeah.
They don't know who the fuck Justin is. You know what I mean?
Well,
they're gonna come in and be like, "Wow, Rob, that's fucking awesome."
It's true, right? But it's not. See, I guess I know.
But you're like, no, I mean, it's not like his. So it's
because I used to get like I used to be able to get it was possible to acquire everything. There was at one point you could get everything. Now you can't. I mean, unless you have unlimited financial resources, and even if you had unlimited financial resources, would you spend that much on Hot Toys figures? I guess I would.
No,
I wouldn't.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
dude, this is awesome. Donnie Pearson, I just want to bring this up because speaking of Star Trek, the score album for Strange New Worlds has arrived. Not everyone loves that show, my number 2 current Star Trek show, and that's fine by me. Absolutely, man. If you enjoy it, dude, that's badass. But I will also say the Picard season 3 album is out as well. And for the Star Trek fans out there, I don't know if you listened to it, Jay, but I grabbed it off of iTunes, and because I don't have it makes me want to go get another record player though to get it on vinyl. But
yeah,
man, if you guys haven't listened to this soundtrack, you finished it, right, Jay?
Oh, I finished it. Oh, hell yeah.
Because I remember last week because Rob couldn't come on, and then you couldn't come on, and you were like, dude, I didn't even finish it.
Dude.
And I was like, yo, you better call me. And you never called me. So I was like, did he watch it?
I gotta download the soundtrack.
Dude, it's amazing.
I watched it and I watched it twice. Yep. We didn't talk about it. I watched it twice and cried both times because it was beautiful. It was everything I wanted it to be. It really was. Just to see something done so fucking well and paid homage and done with such respect. It was just great. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was an experience for me, dude. I mean, not only because, you know, I've been a diehard Trekkie my whole life, but the fact that I was able to see it theatrically. Yep. I mean, that's where I got my poster. That's the poster they gave me.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I saw that other one, Rob. I was like, yo, what about this other poster?
I know, that's
I need
what
that.
Yeah, with the Enterprise D on it.
And it looks double-sided.
Yeah, it does.
I need it because I have a glow box. I was like, oh my God. But I mean,
Hey, I am being summoned for dinner.
Oh my goodness. Well, my friend. Well, you were at the 2-hour mark anyway, guys.
Yeah.
So maybe we could wrap, dude. Do you have anything that you want to talk about real quick before we go, Rob? Because we'll probably just wrap.
Well, no. I mean, I'm doing more on my channel, the Burnett Work, and I'm really excited for these people, Lana and her husband Alan, and Lana Ewan Reviews. I'm going to start featuring on the Burnett Work, and she does these incredibly beautifully produced, really fun. They're really slick and professional, and she's gorgeous, funny. She's a great presenter. And the first piece she did was on Evil Dead Rise, and they're going to be doing she's going to be doing videos once a week on my channel because it's called the Burnett Work. So I'm trying to make a bunch of different kinds of content to make it a network.
Yeah.
So they're my latest additions, and I'll be debuting those. I'll be debuting this new piece in an hour.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
On
if you guys don't know, I'm sure that everybody knows, but not. Rob's link in the channel description right below here, along with Jay as well, dude. Yeah, because you're going full on, man. Trying to make a full list of programming, and
and then I'm going to be doing a panel show, a 2-hour panel show with panelists delving into pop culture issues of the day. But it's going to be more like, unlike the John Campea show, which is focusing more on news, we're going to be focusing more on debate and delving into going deeper into the issues. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And one of the people that's going to be on it is my friend Darren Scott, who he produced movies like Menace to Society.
Oh, wow.
He directed, co-directed with Rusty Cundiff, the Tales from the Hood movies.
Oh,
and
shit.
so, yeah, I've known him for a long time. So he's going to be one of the regular pundits on the show. And so it's going to be more people that have a lot of credits, that have done actual making of movies and things like that. So it's going to be fun. We'll see how it all works out.
That's awesome.
Well, that's going to be awesome. And then the one shows you're going to premiere in an hour.
Yeah, it's the Lana Ewan reviews, and the first one is Evil Dead Rise. And next week she's going to start delving into older exploitation and horror titles. She's going to do Battle Royale next week.
Oh shit!
Oh, I remember that movie.
Yeah,
Nice.
That was
yeah.
Okay. Well,
cool
sweet,
shit.
dude.
Can't wait for that. Can't wait.
Hell
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jay, do you got anything going on? I know, we'll just probably wrap, guys, but
Yeah. Oh man. So I'm debating on doing a Good Morning Grails for.
Oh, you got something there?
Yeah. So I think we may be doing Good Morning Grails tomorrow morning.
Oh, nice. You
Exactly.
got Thriller.
Was that is I had that was one of the figures that was in my storage locker.
Oh,
Sorry.
That figure is great.
I love it. I love it. I had it before and I sold it like an idiot in 2020 because reasons. But I was happy to reacquire it and get it back. So definitely. So I think we'll be doing this tomorrow morning.
Oh,
We usually do Good Morning Grails on Tuesdays, but Tuesdays I'm actually doing a thing for work, so I'm not gonna be available. So I think we'll be doing this tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll just get her open and do a quick Good Morning Grails. So
well,
Nice.
You got it back. I may do something. I know somebody asked me earlier what Ghost Rider I have. I don't have a Ghost Rider. This is a motorcycle. I just dropped his damn Buster Sword, but I got my Cloud in.
Nice.
Finally.
Nice.
The Game Toys Cloud and the motorcycle, but I just knocked over his sword. I may do something on that because a lot of people missed that and didn't get to see it. And I got a great deal on it. And I was like, I need it. I missed it. I'm glad I got it. Anyway, guys, it's been a fun stream, man. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all tonight for the memberships and super chats. Go follow Rob. Go follow Jay. Their links are in the description below. What we got going on, we'll be back. It was just a week off kind of thing. I promise you guys we're not going anywhere. And yeah, stay safe out there, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
All
Peace
right.
out.
Deuces.
Later.
See you later.